Hello everyone, Pierce Nation here. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we'll be going over the 2024 September 2nd effective Forbidden and Limited list. So right out of the gate, we have some major hits, which are good for the game. I know one can only tell how effective these hits will be by prior sets coming out. Right now they are good hits. These are really good hits. First of all, Fiendsmith Lacrima doesn't really do a lot, but it does stop the slow playing and the burning, so that's kind of nice. Appaloosa, that needed to go for a while, I'm not even gonna lie. King Calamity, that should have been gone like 4 lists ago, but glad to see it go. And Beatrice Lady the Eternal, that should have been banned like 3 or 4 years ago, but here we are. So, that's my basic take on some of these cards. Now here, we're gonna get to some really good hits, as in Eva came back, which makes Drytron like ultimately better. Just think I Ash limited to 1, which is great. Poplar limited to 1, which is great. What I don't like, number 40 and number C40 limited to 1, but it still doesn't stop the FTK, as there's a video prior on my channel regarding this. Branded Fusion, that I really don't understand too much, because Branded Fusion only has to go off once to be effective. So I don't understand why Branded Fusion went to 1. Opening of the Spirit Gates to 1, I understand that. Pot of Prosperity to 1, kinda understand it. Singing Summoning to 1, I think that's why Prosperity went to 1 was, Tenpai. Grasslix Grinder went to 1, which I don't even know if that should have happened. And Skill Drain went to 1. Skill Drain should have went to 0, if you ask me, so that's personally what I'm at with that. These really don't matter. You get Ib, Colossus to 2. There's really not gonna do anything. Moonlight Tiger to 2. Tidal Tempest, Redox Blaster, all the 2. You might as well just visit them 3. I don't know why they're babying this, whatever. Oh, okay. Then your Unlimiteds here, which is Time Seal Denlong, Ancient Fairy Dragon, Perform Mage Plush Fire, which it does have an errata. It's a hard once per turn now. Magic Spectre Unicorn Kieran, Red Rose Dragon, and Armageddon Knight. I think these are all like perfectly fine to come back. Time Seal is a little scary because Live can abuse it, but if they're not playing it at 1, they're not going to play it at 3. That's basically where I'm at with that. Now, you could make a deck to where they're playing 3 Time Souls in it, and as scary as that is, it's not really that scary because of recursion that we have in the game. Now sometimes Time Seal could come up, but I personally just don't see it. So yeah, I think your biggest hits are all right here, and this is like a big margin specter that I'm going to talk about here, because Snake Eye Ash Poplar, those are major hits, whether if you believe it or not. If you like Snake Eye Ash with an Imperm, they bring it back, you hit it with a Veiler, they ain't doing nothing. You have 2 cards that can get into Flamberge, and by limiting certain cards, like Poplar, that if you hit it with, like Ash, anything of that sort, they're forced to go here into Promethean to try to get back the Ash, and if you hand trap there, it's automatically dead. Not only that, but the Fiendsmith package is only going to be stopping summonings, so they're probably going to play like High Wave King or a Grave Dragon, which is ultimately worse than playing Apo and some of those other ones like Beatrice that can get the whole combo started. It's just not that good, not that effective anymore. And there were some lists, not a lot, there were some lists that did play Pot of Prosperity. Why did they play Pot of Prosperity? Because you could, most of your extra deck really doesn't matter in Snake Eye, and you can get rid of a lot of cards for that specific reason. Now, it's limited to 1 mainly because of Tenpai, I believe. So with Tenpai being, the 1 deck in the room, I can abuse that a lot. Here we are. It doesn't really matter what Tempai does or what they can try to do, it's going to be really hard because you got one summoning. You're very prone to hand traps. The deck is not resilient. It doesn't have a lot of extenders, which is good. One of the biggest extenders, if you have Ash, you can wait on it. Or, if Ash is your only thing, you basically just Ash and pray. Because that's really all you can do. I mean, if you're keeping them off of the field spell, that's going to make it hard for the Trident Dragaon to OTK. So, I'm not going to make it impossible, but it's going to make it difficult. So, with that being said, I do believe that Tempai is a lot weaker than it was prior. I don't think that it will come back from this very easy. And I don't think one Sengen summoning is going to determine the entire format. I just don't see that happening. Grass looks greener. That card should have never fucking came back. I don't know why it did. I don't know what Konami's thinking. Like, oh, it's not a problem in the OCG. We'll bring it back here, where we have the most effective cards against graveyards. Don't put it past Kashtira not to play a card like that. Because if this ends up going to 60 cards, well, if Grass Looks Greener goes to 3, you can see Cash builds at 60 cards, playing that Grass Looks Greener, milling a bunch of cards, popping off through the tier names, and then having Kashtira bodies to go along with it, which makes it ultimately the best deck, which would not be good for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! So I don't know why that card came back, but it doesn't make any fucking sense. Skill Drain, again, that card should have been banned. Now they're going to try to revert to Power Sink Stone, which I don't really fucking care about in the first place. Like I said, these are funny, but like, it's not really fucking doing anything. This is what I'm focused on the most, because this right here is great. Because these 4 cards, I hated all 4 of these cards. Lacrima, I didn't really necessarily hate the card, but I didn't like it. There is a line that you can go where you discard Engraver, you search track for Lori. Lori, you discard it, specials itself. You make the Link Monster Requiem, Tribute Requiem, you special back Engraver. You use Engraver Engrave, you shuffle back either Requiem or Lori. Normally it's Requiem. You special back the Engraver. You can go those 2 into a rank 6. It still does the same thing. Lacrima, as much as people want to say that was the hit, that was not the hit. If you wanted to like limit Fiendsmith Engraver, like that would have been smart. Like this didn't do anything. I know this. Like, I'm not stupid. You can still make rank 6 turbo, which I mean you can do. Your options are limited, however, but you still have vital access to them, which is a problem on its own. So Fiendsmith's still going to be a problem. So it's not that big of a problem anymore, but it's still a problem. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about this list. Because I don't think much of anything else that's on here is going to do anything. I don't believe Snake Eye is that powerful anymore. I don't think it's very powerful at all. Because with one Poplar, your whole strategy baits off of getting Flamberge off. And if you're playing DD Crow, you can stop this. You play Ash DD Crow, it does die. It will not succeed. I think Crow is the move going forward in this format. Simply because it stops Fiendsmith. And if you're playing Crow over something like Bestials for like Kashtira, it really doesn't matter because you're not putting another body on the field. It doesn't bother you like Bestials does. And you can stop their vital plays, which is what you gotta do. Because if you Crow the Fiendsmith Engraver on its activation, it ain't gonna summon. It's gonna be dead. And then they're gonna be stuck with a body, and then they're gonna have to try to play with that body on the field. And I mean, that is what it is. Konami has decided not to put restriction on cards anymore, like the Fiendsmith stuff, like the Snake Eye stuff, like the Azumina stuff that's coming out, like the Malice stuff. So you're back in a situation where your generic cards are your most dangerous cards. So Appaloosa's got to go. At some point, IP and SP will have to go. And then in another point, Typhon and or Zeus will have to go. Like, it's inevitable. You can't have generic splashable cards that can go in any deck for any reason. You have to have, like, reasoning behind it. Now, one thing I do want to talk about before I sign off this video is Eva. Eva is very dangerous. If you did not play when Drytrons were a thing, well, Drytron just got support, like, I don't know, last set in Infinite Forbidden. And they're going to give us a card back that literally says, if you have Herald of Ultimateness on your board, just refill your hand with fairies by banishing 2 from grave, including its, I believe it's including itself. I don't remember the correct wording on Eva, but yeah, it's something of those lines. It basically just refills your hand with 2 fairies for no fucking reason. So it gives Herald of Ultimateness up to 4 negates. Normally you could beat that with a droplet, but Drytron is playing the Magic Key package in it, which does put up an Omni for spells and traps, so 1 droplet's not going to fix it. 1 droplet will die, and you can't really do much more with it, so really doesn't matter because Drytron is looking to be one of the best decks. The only thing that keeps it off of being the best deck is Bystials and Shifter. Bystials to a point. Drytron has counterplay to get their monsters back into the graveyard, which I've always played that counterplay, which is Drytron, I think it's Beta Rostaban. I know it's Rostaban, I don't remember its middle name. But it basically tributes 1 from hand field, summons itself, and then it returns 1 back to grave. And also there's a new trap that can return them back to, I think it returns them to hand if they're banished. And then it can ritual summon on your opponent's turn. I don't think that part is that important, but if I need to, I can play that, because I believe I might be on just Puppets and Drytron going forward. I do think Puppets might be the best deck right now, because in a meta where Tenpai is considered the best deck, an FTK is the first thing that'll knock it off of that statue, and it can still FTK pretty easily, as I've got a video on my channel with the horse stuff. You can see how easy it can FTK. It's not that hard. There's a pure version that I play that plays Allure of Darkness, which has a 94% FTK rate, which is extremely high. And you don't make 2 C number 40, and you don't make 2 number 40s. It's that simple. You can just make the Leo. As long as you're making your rank 8, everything will still proc. So it doesn't matter. Like, you're still getting your rank up spell. They should have hit the rank up spell to like 1 or something, but they didn't. So it doesn't really change anything. So good job, Konami. At least you didn't hit my card. Give it Puppet Master here. So without further ado, that's all I got to say. If you all have anything to say about this ban list, any thoughts come to mind, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm Pierce Nation, and we will see you in the next video. Pierce Nation, out.